order for let's spill the tea.
Oh,
Hello.
hello.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What episode number is this? 13?
No fucking
14?
clue.
I've
I
lost
ain't got no
track.
clue.
I think it's 14. I think we're on 14.
Hey.
What's up? Guys, Corey actually has time to make plans with me that I don't have to stare at her through a computer screen.
Okay, it's only because I have a spring break coming up, but even the list of stuff I had planned for that spring break, she had like 3 days to pick from.
Yeah. Freaking like I couldn't do this Friday because I'm going to Jackson's. And I think like the other day was like I don't even freaking I think it was like next Friday and Saturday.
It was next Friday and Sunday.
And Sunday, yeah. So I was like,
Yeah.
well, fuck.
Yeah. Well, it's because Monday's Easter.
Mhm.
So this Friday I had off. Then Saturday I'm with my boyfriend. Sunday I have a family thing to go to. Monday's Easter. Tuesday my boyfriend's coming over and staying over to help my dad. And then Wednesday I'm going to his house because he's staying over. We're going to his house. And then Thursday I have plans with my other friend that I haven't hung out with since July. So yeah. And then I had that Friday off, and then my boyfriend that next Saturday, and then I had that Sunday off. My days were packed. I was going through it.
Yeah. Well, by the way, Crouton is back.
Yay, Crouton! I love Crouton.
Is always here.
Oh my gosh, I got a new stuffed animal.
Oh my god. We have a problem when it comes to stuffed animals. Like, we have so fucking many. Is that Emily?
Yeah.
I fucking hate you.
It's so soft. Guess who got it for me?
Cole?
No.
His brother? I don't fucking know.
No, my parents, and it was supposed to be my Easter basket, and they said that they saw it and they were like, I thought of you immediately. It's so Corey.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it is. Me and Emily.
Yeah, we love Tim Burton. But
okay, we don't love Tim Burton. We love his movies.
yes, we don't like him as a person, but yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately, my favorite movie is by Tim Burton. Unfortunately.
Yeah, we have the same favorite movie. Oops.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
My favorite movie is not The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh shit. Which fucking one is yours then?
Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, duh. Duh.
But The Nightmare Before Christmas is number 2.
Okay, fine. We it's still in our top 3.
Yes.
All right. What you drinking today? What tea you got?
I have plain black tea and SodaStream Dr. Pete and water and Sonic water.
Damn, she's got a whole array. Corey, I'm gonna tell you, Dr. Pete is not gonna get us a sponsorship. So don't you worry.
SodaStream.
Don't you worry. I got my Dr. Pepper yet again.
I think SodaStream needs a sponsor. Actually.
Sonic needs to sponsor you.
Sonic, SodaStream, Dr. Pepper.
I'll get the Dr. Pepper one.
We should both do Dr. Pepper and both do Sonic and do Dr. Pete. We're a team. We're like Sam and Colby.
Exactly.
I forgot about them. I don't know why they just popped into my brain.
Anyway. I guess we kind of like just randomly spilled tea about our lives also. So
yeah,
we might be ready to jump right into it.
Yeah, and when you start, I'm gonna mute myself and eat Funyuns.
Yeah, Corey has Funyuns. I have.
I'll do some ASMR
M&Ms.
for you first.
Please no. No. I can't even hear it. Thank fucking God. Nope.
What?
I can't hear it. It just like I think it's like knowing to mute you or something. Like I wish I was kidding.
That's crazy.
Anyway,
I'll still mute anyway.
that would be appreciated in case you're like 5 feet away and I hear a chomp.
Continue.
All right. Today, Corey, It's gonna the way I start off my story is gonna sound like I'm going into your realm. But I'm not gonna go into too much detail because I want you to be able to cover this story yourself, or cover this cryptid, tulpa, I don't really know yet. Today, we are talking about the Slenderman stabbings.
Oh, hell no. Oh, fuck no. Fuck no. Oh, hell no.
I was.
No. You don't know how bad that shit scared me when I was a kid.
Oh, don't worry. There's recent events.
Don't even start. Like, how recent? Don't start. Don't start.
2025.
I'm gonna kill myself.
Okay.
I'm not actually.
So
cut that out.
I will. Don't worry. But so I was gonna do a kidnapping story for you today, but I had just finished these notes this morning. I didn't think I was going to, and I just was like, you know what? I gotta do it. I gotta do it. All right. So let's spill the tea on the Slenderman stabbings. I apologize in advance.
Hold on. I need to give context to why I'm giving that face because you're looking at me like I'm crazy.
You don't like it. That's okay.
When I was a kid, you know how, like, I feel like I say this all the time. I have many OCD experiences.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, before I was diagnosed with OCD, like, you know how I had the paranoia episode where I thought somebody was going to come in and kill me in this house?
Mm-hmm.
That happened at my grandparents' house, but I always thought it was Slenderman because I saw him, like, once. Like, not him, obviously.
Like
but
a photo, yeah.
Yeah, once, and it scared the shit out of me, and I would try and fall asleep at night. That's why I sleep with the blanket over my head now. That started during my Slenderman paranoia episodes when I was a kid, and now I can't get rid of it. Like, it was so bad that now I have a thing that I do every single night. So when I tell you he scared the shit out of me, I was horrified.
Corey
I might have to turn my lights
slender
on.
trauma.
I might have to turn my lights on now.
Okay,
before it even starts.
We're only really going over the character in the beginning of this story. And then, like, you're just gonna hear of him. Girl is turning on her lights. She is fucking scared.
I can't. I'm good. I'm okay. I'll be fine. I'm gonna eat my Funyuns and I'll be okay.
Like I said, there's probably gonna be a lot of banter going on of Corey just wanting to scream. So, all right, let's jump right into it. So who is Slenderman? Because a lot of people did not grow up on the online forums we grew up on. So basically, Slenderman is a supernatural creature known for its distinctive characteristics and abilities. It was created in Something Awful forums, Create Paranormal Images, around 2009. He is shown as a tall humanoid creature, anywhere between 6 and 15 feet tall, in a dark suit and tie, a white blank face, no hair, and long, bony fingers. Corey is already traumatized because I'm talking about this. I'm describing it to a detail. So, Slenderman behaves in a very passive-aggressive manner. She's gonna kill me. She's gonna choke on her Funyuns. This is going on the TikTok. I hope you know this. I get to edit the videos I pick. So, he lets his prey slowly drive into madness and watches from afar. The character has evolved over the years from just being a photo to its own game and movie. I think multiple games, actually. Basically, he's a creepypasta that many believe to be true, so he could possibly be a tulpa. Which is, that is all I'm gonna say on Slenderman, because this is technically, if Corey ever wants to cover this, which he probably won't.
I am never touching this with a 20-foot pole. I will cover other ones. Just not this one.
No,
I'm horrified. Oh my gosh. Wasn't there like a thing? Wait, hold on. Wasn't there a thing when you were a kid? Did you ever hear? The reason why he freaked me out so bad is because it was like if you said his name, like he showed up.
Are you thinking of Candyman?
No. There was something, like, you weren't supposed to think about him or, like, say his name or something. And that's why it freaked me out so much, because as a kid with OCD, once you hear something, it repeats in your head over and over. So I thought he was going to come and kill me.
No, I did not hear of this.
Okay, maybe I was on a weird part of the internet. I don't know.
So, basically, that is the background that we really need to go into for this story. So, Anissa E. Wire was born November 10th, 2001, and Morgan E. Geyser was born May 16th, 2002. These two would commit an atrocious crime against their own friend to follow their obsession. So, Geyser and Peyton Elizabeth Leutner were childhood best friends from Waukesha, Wisconsin. So, you know what? They're just going into it, which I'm going to tell you. This third person I just introduced, Leutner, she is our victim. So, Geyser and Wire met in 2013 and bonded over their obsession of Slenderman. Leutner, she hated it. She was like you. She wanted to stay as far away from it as possible. Which, honestly, at 12 years old, I don't blame her. So,
Yeah.
Geyser and Wire started to believe that he was real and thought he'd hurt their families if they didn't offer a sacrifice to him. So, to put it lightly, they wanted to be his proxies and work for him, like he was their god.
I have Funyuns in my mouth, but who in the right mind would want that to be their god?
Well,
are they okay? I don't think they're okay.
We'll go over that later. That'll get brought up. I promise I will
go
get
back
there.
to my Funyuns.
You're gonna finish your Funyuns before this story is over, and it's just you're gonna be like, I have nothing, and she drops one. What the fuck?
I'm literally eating them for comfort right now.
And you're gonna run out before this is over. I'm gonna tell you now.
Probably.
So, the date of our crime, May 31st, 2014. Leutner was at Geyser's house for a birthday slumber party, and Wire was there as well. So the three of them, they were all friends, so to say. They were having a nice little sleepover, So, when they woke up the next morning, Leutner joined the two girls downstairs for donuts before going to the park. The girls were, on the computer, playing a game, probably researching what they're going to do or something. I don't really know. But, they all ate some donuts before. They needed a little energy. They needed some carbs. So, Leutner was told that the plan was to play hide and seek. All right? So, they told her to lie down under a pile of leaves and sticks as part of the game. Geyser would then stab her with a 5-inch kitchen knife 19 times.
I'm sorry, why would they tell her where to hide if it was hide and seek? Aren't they supposed to seek her?
The logic isn't logicking.
She just didn't think that was weird.
The logic is not logicking.
I mean, granted, she's a kid, but, you don't know how hide and seek works. Anyway.
So, after, stabbing her 19 times, they left her alone bleeding and struggling to cling to life. They left claiming that they were going to go get help. You're the one that caused the problem. They were obviously lying. So, she was stabbed in her arms, legs, and torso. There were 2 wounds to major organs. One narrowly missed a major artery. Literally so freaking close. And one stab cut through her diaphragm. lacerating her stomach and liver. Like, she
That
was
poor
barely
girl.
living.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Usually that's a death sentence. But she was all alone, and she realized they're not coming back. They're not going to come get help. So she was able to push through the pain and make her way to a nearby road where a cyclist was able to call for help. So she was found very quickly. Surgeons had to operate on her for 6 hours to treat all of her internal injuries.
Well, I mean, at least she was found, right?
Yeah, which is good.
That's a long
she
surgery,
lives.
though.
She does live.
Yeah, that's a long surgery.
Yeah, even her lead surgeon, Dr. John Kellerman, said, quote, "If the knife had gone the width of a human hair further, she wouldn't have lived." So like I said, they almost missed a huge major artery.
She's so lucky. So lucky.
I mean, I would call it luck, but not luck.
I mean, it's not lucky that she got stabbed, but not getting a major artery when it was that close.
Yeah.
Someone was looking out for her.
Well, thankfully, she was only in the hospital for about a week. She recovered and would actually return to school the following September. At this point, like, the girls were not arrested as far as she knew. The girls were, like, they were not incarcerated yet.
But they knew, like, it was them, right? Like,
Yes.
okay.
But, so, she didn't, like, the trial hasn't happened yet. They're just in jail. They can make bail. Like, that's the situation we're in. So, and she would also later go on to say that she still, like, this was back when she was 19 years old. I think that's 2023-ish. She still sleeps with a broken pair of scissors, afraid of being attacked again. Which is, like, such a shame.
She was what?
She sleeps with a broken pair of scissors, afraid of being attacked.
Oh, that's really sad.
She has long-lasting trauma because they were her friends.
Yeah, that's really scary.
So, literally 5 hours after the attack, Geyser and Wire would be arrested near a Steinhuffel's furniture store. I'm guessing that's a Wisconsin thing. I've never heard of it. Yeah, this furniture store on Interstate 94. It was only 4.9 miles from the attack location. They did not make it far. So, they found the knife in the bag they were carrying. Like, they kept the knife. And said they were traveling to Chequamegon Nicollet National Forest, which is 200 miles away. They did not get very close. To go meet Slenderman at his home, also known as the Slender Mansion. I don't know why they call I did not grow up on creepypasta forums, so I don't really know if, like, Slender Mansion is the actual term for his home. I think it is.
I have no clue. I don't remember. I grew up, like, with that kind of stuff, but I don't really remember.
Yeah, I don't. But I kind of laughed when I read Slender Mansion. I'm just like, okay, cool. I wanted to call the beginning of the story the Slender Lore too, like, because at that point,
That's
Slender
crazy.
everything.
See, that's crazy. I would have cried.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that to you. So, during the investigation, they were giving pre-psychiatric evaluations. Obviously.
Well, yeah.
Did you just take a picture again?
No, my thing was.
I just saw the phone come out, and I'm like, you better fucking not. I was not ready.
Nah, I didn't.
So, Geyser admitted to lifelong visual and auditory hallucinations that began in early childhood.
Okay, checks out.
So
she's
this
schizophrenic?
Yeah.
That
So
makes
this
it much better.
totally. So These hallucinations included, but are not limited to, figures like ghosts, colors melting down the walls, and imaginary friends named Maggie and Sev. Oh, she turned off the lights. She
Yeah.
feels safe.
It's okay.
For now. So, she also disclosed a recurring hallucination of a man she named It. Just It.
What?
Like the clown. Like Pennywise, the movie.
We just combined two of my worst feels.
Yeah,
Clowns.
well, okay, it's not a clown as far as I know.
Okay. I would have cried.
So it has a body the color of smoke and ink, and Geyser would see them standing behind her in mirrors or in corners. I fucking hate that.
That's horrifying.
I hate it.
That's horrifying. Not about that.
Yeah, no. Even after her arrest, her mother, Angie Geyser, did believe that she was becoming psychotic. Like, she admitted, like, yeah, my child has issues. Please help.
Yeah. Maybe.
Correctional officers even reported her talking to herself, acting like a cat, and keeping ants as pets. I mean, if I were
acting
lonely,
like a cat?
Acting like a cat.
This bitch is a furry.
I really hope not.
She identifies as a cat?
Corey, I don't know.
You know what? I'm just gonna stop talking. I'm just gonna stop there.
So she claimed she was seeing unicorns and having conversations with Slenderman and other fictional characters. Like, I want you to guess one of the characters I have listed. It's 3. I have 3 listed.
Is it another creepypasta character like Jack the Killer?
Nope. Oh. Nope.
My Little Pony Pinkie Pie.
Imagine. I mean, one of them is a cartoon, so I'll give you that.
Mickey Mouse.
No. The 2 I have listed are from the Harry Potter franchise.
Oh, hell no.
And the third one's a cartoon. One of them is Voldemort.
Is the other Hedwig?
No, Snape.
Oh, of course. Why not?
And the third one I have listed is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
No way.
Like,
does it say which one? Is it Leonardo? Leonardo was my favorite.
I didn't get to find out which one.
Leonardo was my favorite. Do we have if you have a favorite? I want to know it.
I wasn't a Ninja Turtles person really growing up. But
I wasn't either, but I was strangely attached to Leonardo, which is the blue one.
Yeah. I think Michelangelo.
Is that the orange one?
I think so.
Yeah, Donatello's purple and Raphael's red. Raphael. Sleeper agent activated.
Oh my god. Anyway. Yeah, so she was having conversations with Slenderman and these other fictional characters. Like,
all right.
She was living her best life. Apparently. With all of this information, in September of 2014, Geyser was transferred to the Winnebago Mental Health Institute to see if she was competent to stand trial. On October 22nd of that year, she was diagnosed with early onset childhood schizophrenia, and her treatment was very, very rough on her. It was for about 20 months, which could have made her psychosis and delusions actually worse for a while, because trying to treat schizophrenia, it usually gets worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
Because you have to experiment.
Yay.
So by November 2015, she finally began a long-term and consistent regimen of antipsychotics. Yay. And with this medication and her treatment regimen, she finally felt the guilt and regret towards the crime.
Oh.
So
that's a
plus. Now that her mind is more clear, like, she doesn't have all of these, like, nerves misfiring in her brain.
Yeah.
She can finally, like, feel what she should have felt all those years ago, but she's aware of it now, of what happened. So, March 23rd, 2016, she was transferred to the county jail waiting for trial. Due to her confinement and incarceration, her mental health continued to deteriorate.
Poor girl.
Like, it was so stressful on her, like, waiting for this. So, even during the trial, like, usually they would keep you in the county jail just for ease, but due to her mental health, she would return to the Winnebago Institute during the trial. Because mental health does take priority, no matter what. So, Geyser and Wire were both charged with first-degree intentional homicide and tried as adults in 2017. They were only 15 and 16.
Yeah.
But the nature of the crime, the court decided, no, adults. So, Wire pled guilty to being a part of attempted second-degree homicide, which is a Class B felony, in August of 2017. The jury actually found her not guilty by mental disease or insanity. She was sentenced to 25 years, an indeterminate sentence requiring a minimum of 3 years confinement and involuntary treatment in a state forensic psychiatric institute, followed by communal supervision until the age of 37.
Great.
So basically, continue to, well, this is Wire. I was talking about Geyser earlier. My bad. Basically get the mental health treatment that you need in an inpatient facility, and then you need to be under supervision.
Yeah.
But you can be home. So Geyser's attorneys argued that she was mentally ill due to the schizophrenia and psychotic spectrum disorder, which she was only diagnosed with schizophrenia. She did plead guilty to attempted first-degree intentional homicide, which is a Class A felony. The reason she pled was because of a plea offer that she wouldn't go to trial and agreed to a further psych evaluation to determine appropriate duration of commitment and to a forensic psych hospital. Basically, like, you won't go to trial if you plead guilty, but we need to figure out how long you need help for. So even with the plea offer, like, she took it, whatever, the jury still found her not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect. And she was given the max sentence of 40 years confinement in a state forensic psych institute. So when Leutner recovered, she excelled academically, participated in school music programs, and volunteered at an animal shelter, continuing life as normal. She and family sought counseling to cope, and she still continues to have this long-lasting trauma, as I said earlier, but she's just living her life the way she did before. Just sadly with a ton of scars and trauma. Yeah. So we just finished off 2015, 2016, that time. We're going to fast forward a bit to March 10th, 2021. Post-COVID, like, still kind of COVID, but post-COVID. Yeah. I was trying to graduate at this time. Like,
I was not.
You were almost. You were a junior.
I was almost there.
So, Wire, who would now be 19 at this time, wrote a letter to the court saying how she was, quote, sorry and deeply regretful for the agony, pain, and fear I have caused to Leutner and my community as well. I hate my actions from May 31st, 2014, but through countless hours of therapy, I no longer hate myself for them. Which, like, therapy works, people.
Yay.
So, with her writing that letter to court, On July 1st, 2021, Waukesha County Judge Michael Boren ordered for her release, giving state officials 60 days to make a conditional release plan and have supervised progress until she's 37, which would be the length of her commitment.
Mm-hmm.
So, on September 13th, she was released into the care of her father. Yay!
Yay!
She has a good relationship with her father, don't worry. So, there were some conditions. She must wear a 24-hour GPS monitoring device requesting permission to leave the county, which makes sense.
Understandable.
No contact with Leutner until 2039, which is, again, the length of commitment.
Yeah.
Internet use is restricted and monitored, including no social media. Again,
Good.
Makes sense.
That's entirely where this came from.
Exactly. It all started on the internet. So, she has to take court-mandated psychiatric meds and regular counseling sessions with her caseworker. But after a couple years, the GPS was waived. So she was able to roam freely, but still had to comply with everything else. So Wire is just living her life right now. They're a couple years older than us. So, they're probably living life like we do.
Probably struggling to
have money. Yeah. Yeah. So Geyser attempted many appeals and petitioned early release, but of course, denied. One of these psychologists actually said she claimed that in a 2022 evaluation that she was faking symptoms to avoid returning to her father's care, claiming he was abusive. And she wanted to be retried as a juvenile, but denied. So, in January 2025, Geyser's multiple appeals would finally work, as 3 psychologists said she improved greatly and would be released early. The hearing was canceled a month later over new allegations that she had violent communications with a man outside the facility and read a book featuring, quote, themes of sexual sadism and murder.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Girl, you're a little stupid.
Maybe. The hearing would continue to keep getting rescheduled, even though many claimed that she was ready, including her psychologist. So then we fast forward to July 2025. The judge signed a conditional release plan. She would be living in a group home under supervision until 2058. Again, length of incarceration.
Yeah.
With periodic reevaluations. She was housed in Madison after being denied other homes for not being a good fit for herself or others. Like, some of the homes were just not healthy.
Yeah.
Like, actually, with a lot of complaints from people who live there. So they were like, okay, we can't, that's not a safe spot. Move on. Okay, she won't fit in with these people. Like, they'll just clash and it will cause more issues. So it was kind of difficult for them to find her a home. But
Sadly,
8 a.m., November 23rd, 2025. Literally only, 5 months ago? 4 months ago?
Couple
Not
months
that
ago.
long ago. Yeah. A 911 call was made alerting Madison Police Department that Geyser had disappeared from her group home.
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no.
She cut off her monitoring device and left the night before. She was found the following day with a trans woman by local police in Posen, Illinois, which also at this time, I was getting some conflicting reports on gender identity of Geyser. Some saying that they were coming out as trans. A lot of them continuing to use she, her pronouns. So I'm going to switch pronouns to they, them, just because I am unsure. And this is the time where identity is not confirmed.
Okay.
So the two of them were found sleeping outside a Thornton's gas station. Again, I don't know what a Thornton's is. I don't know if it's anything like how Wawa is or like Sheetz, but
Probably.
So they were at this gas station near Interstate 57, which was about 200 miles away. So they got a lot further this time.
Damn.
They initially identified to police as Stephanie Grias and Charles M. Robertson. I'm sorry, Charles M. Robertson just sounds like a fake name.
That's an interesting choice. Charles in the year 2025.
But would soon cave from the pressure and release their real names. I do not have the name of this trans woman, by the way. Which, we love trans women. I just, sadly, the name was not released from the information I was looking at.
Okay.
So apparently the two of them became friends at a nearby church to the group home. Geyser's friend was denied visitation. Like, I don't know if they weren't letting the specific person in or just Geyser wasn't allowed to have visitation. So this friend would actually sneak in a lot. You know, normal teenage things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she's not a teenager anymore at this point, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So they developed a plan to escape to Nashville. One bus took them to Chicago and another took them to Posen, where they ran out of money. Great plan, guys. Like,
You didn't think that you needed to have money to get somewhere?
honestly, spur of the moment.
Yeah.
So the acquaintance was actually charged with criminal trespassing, and last we hear, they're awaiting their court hearing. Like, the two of them are both waiting.
Yeah.
So, after all of this, how did this affect the creepypasta community? Of course, there would be a lot of backlash, especially with parents and internet usage.
Yeah.
So, after the attack, the Waukesha School District actually blocked access to Creepypasta Wiki, which held a lot of slender lore, as I like to say.
Yeah.
So, okay, they can't use it on school computers. They can still look at it at home.
Yeah.
That's my opinion on that. Like, you can try your hardest, but kids usually find a way around things.
Yeah, kids are determined.
So after the attacks as well, on June 5th, 2014, the Slenderman creator Eric Knudsen released a statement. Quote, "I am deeply saddened by the tragedy in Wisconsin, and my heart goes out to the families of those affected by this terrible act." That's it. That was the quote. Like, oh, I feel terrible.
Oh,
I'm not going to do anything to help. Goodbye.
that's crazy.
Okay, but to be fair, like, it was only like a week after the attacks.
Fair.
I wouldn't even know what to do. Like, I would be like, oh my god, I created this thing. I need to say something.
Yeah.
So that's what he did. He basically said, like, this is insane.
Yeah,
He
I
was
mean,
in
it's not his
shock.
fault that people took it. and,
Exactly.
like,
He just made a
went that far.
picture. He
Yeah.
made a picture that the world took by storm. So, Slosh Train, who is a former Creepypasta Wiki admin, claimed this to be an isolated incident and did not define the community, which I agree. One little incident like this, not little, but
Yeah. One incident
it's
doesn't change the community.
yeah.
It's gonna matter,
Even-
but it doesn't change.
Exactly. It's going to be known, but not everyone is like this. He said that the wiki is literally just a literary site, and it does not condone murder or satanic rituals. It's just stories. There was even a statement on the site saying the writing and character were not to blame.
Well,
Even
yeah, they're
I
not.
agree that, like, it's just people on the internet can spiral.
Yeah.
You read a story and you believe it. Especially, one thing that I appreciate about the creepypasta community was following Lutner's attacks. On June 13th and 14th of 2014, the creepypasta community members actually held a 24-hour live stream to raise money for Lutner.
Oh, that's sweet though.
The purpose was to show that the community cared for the victim and did not condone real-world violence. So, what I remember hearing about this back in like middle school. We were in middle school when this happened.
I remember, yeah.
And I wasn't a big creepypasta person. Like I barely know any creepypastas. I know Slenderman. I know Jeff the Killer. And Sky told me about another one the other day, and I can't remember the name of it.
Jack earlier. I combined Jack Foster and Jeff the Killer. That's what Sky
told me. Yeah, it's Jeff the Killer. You were thinking Jack the Ripper, probably.
No, I was thinking Jack Foster, that anime guy that has all the bandages.
No, I literally only know of Slenderman, Jeff the Killer, and Eyeless Jack.
Yes.
That's all I know about. I just knew of them. I knew what Slenderman looked like, but literally I had pretty free reign to internet access as a kid. A lot of parents still give their kids free reign, which
stupid.
You boo.
No, stupid.
But I still think certain things need to be controlled, especially if, as a parent who believed her child was going through some sort of psychosis.
Yeah, why would you let your child, like...
Her mother should have done a little more.
Maybe watch your kid a little bit better.
But then again, what if she was like a working mom? They were working parents. Like, sometimes you can't monitor everything every second of the day. Like, I want to give benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to.
I think even if you can't monitor everything, like every second of the day, there is something that mom could have done, even if it was just check in with the daughter. Like,
exactly. Being like, ooh, what you looking at? Like,
yeah.
That's it. Like, realize that all I say is, like, don't watch your kids. Like, just check in every now and then. Make sure they're not spiraling.
Yeah, because you also want them to have that privacy, but you also don't want them to do stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. There were also a lot of parents that wanted, like, creepypasta to just be taken off of the internet, like, banned across the world.
Stupid. That's stupid.
Again, this is an isolated incident that, yes, involved a creepypasta character. That's like the most popular, in my opinion.
It is.
Yeah. But it's just,
I think it became the most popular because of that.
No, it was already popular enough well before.
I think it was popular, but I think it became, like, leagues more popular than the other ones because of that.
Because it was getting all that attention.
Yeah.
But the creepypasta community as a whole, they are not murderers. They do not think real world violence is okay. They are just storytellers. And that is the tea on the Slenderman stabbing.
Yay!
I traumatized Corey.
I'm so glad that's over. Oh my gosh.
Oh, don't worry. Next week, it's not.
I'm not going to be able to sleep.
Oh, congratulations. I'm not going to be able to sleep either.
I'm going to go back to, like, my 12-year-old, like, OCD, like, paranoia and, like, lay there in my bed and I'm just going to be like, I'm going to die. I'm going to die.
Oh, my God. I hope you know that, like, when I'm editing the videos for you for TikTok, I am going to be just showing videos of you eating Funyuns fucking scared.
We need to make that, like, it just needs to be a compilation.
Literally.
Like, one video is just a compilation of me stress eating Funyuns and, like, freaking out.
Honestly, though, I just hold crouton. Crouton is my comfort. And M&M's.
Yay! Yeah. My story is not that scary, though.
Oh, shit. I had the scary one today?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. All right.
So, you know how your story kind of sounded like it started off, like, my kind of thing?
It's going to start sounding like mine, isn't it?
Yeah.
Crouton, is that okay?
Well, because I have to, like, say the history first.
Yeah. I know, sometimes someone has to die. Like,
Yeah, like people have to die, you know, to make a haunted house.
all right. I got my Dr. P. Not Dr. Pete. Just Dr. P.
I'm so mad about the Dr. Pete situation. Like, it tastes like Dr. Pepper, sure, but there's something missing. But
It's
you
the
know what
syrup.
tastes really good? Dr. Pepper Peeps.
I have not tried them yet.
My dad got some. They weren't even for me. My dad got some and I saw them and I was like, "Give me one. I want to try." You can't hide that from me.
You can't stop me.
Like, I'm gonna take one. And I tried it. It tasted more like Dr. Pepper than the Dr. Pete, which is supposed to be Dr. Pepper.
Valid. Maybe we'll take Dr. Pepper Peeps and make it into a soda somehow. I don't know how. We'll add a little garnish. Corey burped.
It was the Funyuns, but at least I had the decency to mute myself, okay?
All right.
It was a
fine,
loud
fuck
one
you.
too. It was loud.
Oh my god. I didn't tell you about the drink I had at Applebee's. Like on Friday or something.
Okay.
It was a Jameson Dreamsicle. So it was like orange cream, like orange Jameson with like I think it was freaking why can't I remember the ingredients? Like Jackson was able to like list them off perfectly because he's been a bartender, so he just knows by names.
Yeah.
But it was like orange Jameson, some sort of like creamy tequila or something. And then like just a little dollop of whipped cream.
I think I would obliterate that. I would obliterate that and then get shit.
It was frozen too. It was a frozen drink.
So, yeah, I'm getting shit-faced off of that.
Corey is going to Applebee's.
But I can't go unless somebody can drive. Like, I can't go with Paul because Paul can't drive.
Okay. Yeah, we still need to figure that out because if he wants a fucking job, he needs to drive.
He's still practicing, but his dad is a bum. Sorry, Paul.
Sorry, Paul's dad.
His dad's never gonna hear it.
You don't know that.
Sorry, Paul's dad. I still love you.
No,
Um,
it was.
Yeah.
I will be honest. I usually don't feel after a drink, but I was a little dehydrated, so like I had a bit of a headache afterwards. But like it was so good. Are you okay?
I'm trying to like offset that before.
Anyway, maybe how can we segue into your story?
Anyway, I'll just go into it. Okay.
All right. I'm gonna mute any M&Ms.
All right. We are standing in an empty lot in San Diego, California. Okay. This empty lot does eventually take on a different life, but in the year 1852, it's just a plot of land. So we are in San Diego, California in 1852 on an empty plot. Okay. All right. So on this plot of land, a man named Yankee Jim Robinson was taken to have his last moments. Yes, his name is Yankee. Yankee Jim.
Listen, I just finished editing. His name is fucking Lemon, all right?
Yes, we have his name is Lemon. This guy's name is Yankee Jim. Okay.
Alrighty.
So he's taken to this plot of land in San Diego to have his last moments. Robinson was convicted of theft of a speedboat and sentenced to death. Okay. Yeah, pretty extreme. Yeah, pretty extreme. He was.
I was gonna try. I was trying to unmute it and it wouldn't unmute.
Yeah.
That is so fucking extreme for theft.
Yeah, theft of a speedboat, but it's also 1852 and everything was extreme.
Yeah, valid.
But the execution took place right where the house would later stand, so it becomes a house. The execution happened right where it was built. So they constructed gallows in the empty plot of land before bringing Robinson there. But the actual hanging was very poorly executed. The gallows weren't high enough for the man's height. He was around 6 foot, and the gallows were a few inches short. So this proved to cause many problems, which resulted in, instead of a quick death, a struggle by Robinson while he slowly suffocated, which it's not how gallows are meant to kill. I don't like gallows in general, but they're not meant to suffocate you.
I have heard of this. Like, I don't know what the building's gonna turn into. I can't remember. But I have heard of what happened to him where the gallows, like, they just built it terribly.
Yeah. It was just too short for him, and they also weren't sturdy. So it actually kind
Yeah.
of like sank a little bit as he was hanging because he was 6 foot tall. But
To be
it
fair, not a
suffocated
lot
him.
of men were 6 foot tall.
No,
at that
but
point.
they built it specifically for him. You would think
Mm-hmm.
they would make it tall enough. Like the gallows were not there
Yeah.
before. They built it specifically for him. But that detail of like that like slow, painful death matters because in paranormal lore, prolonged or violent deaths are usually linked to more like lingering hauntings.
Mm-hmm.
So, only a few years after the Robinson hanging, Thomas Whaley went to visit the plot of land in search of a place to build a home.
We're doing the Whaley House.
Yay! So
I was
when
like,
Thomas,
where have I heard this?
yeah. So when Thomas Whaley visited the site, he reportedly heard or felt something strange, but he decided to build the house there anyway. The house began construction and was completed in 1857. This home was made of brick, which was kind of sort of rare at the time, which shows their status. They were very wealthy at the time.
They had
So-
money.
Which
Which we
is
don't.
why, well, we don't, but is why the house was not just a home. It also served as a variety of other things, such as a general store, a courthouse, and San Diego's first theater. So this
Damn.
area was always crowded and very populated. So the very first encounters by the Whaley family happened almost immediately after moving in. The Whaleys reported heavy footsteps moving through the house, and they weren't random noises. They had a pattern, like someone was pacing, and they were often heard when the house was quiet at night. So no one was awake. No one was walking around. Everybody was asleep, and they would just hear these boots pacing back and forth.
Yeah.
Thomas Whaley himself is said to have remarked something like the steps reminded him of Yankee Jim. So Thomas Whaley thought that these boots, walking back and forth, were Yankee Jim. The family acknowledged the hauntings early on. This was not something that was like added later on. There was documented reportings of the hauntings like in the early stages. So the hauntings were smaller, but they were always there. So, are you okay?
I was just adjusting levels
Okay.
of my headphones. Don't worry about me.
In the 1860s, the home began being used as a county courthouse as well, among the previously mentioned things. So this land was also now home to criminal trials, public disputes, and high emotional tension such as fear, anger, sadness. It was filled with people at some of the worst moments of their life. And this obviously probably contributed to the emotional residue that happened in the house. The previously mentioned San Diego theater began to gain more traction around this time. Plays, performances, and gatherings brought in large crowds. It was meant to be lively and cultural. Like I said, the Whaley family was very well off, so they were well known, well liked, and well regarded. Their home and plot of land brought a sense of community. They were very popular people in the community. This theater was a place for people to have that sense of camaraderie. But as it was gaining traction, shortly after opening, a performer or associate connected to the theater, we don't know, it was either a performer or a worker, died unexpectedly shortly after. The accounts actually vary on how this person died. So, like, it kind of seems to be like a speculation of how they died.
Mm-hmm.
But when it happened is always consistent. So it's just shortly after it opened. So now there are 2 deaths that happened on this land.
Damn.
Yay. So after this untimely death, the theater struggled. The energy shift from lively to uneasy, and some later visitors reported strange feelings in that room specifically. That was the theater. In 1858, one of the earliest tragedies fell upon the house. So the Whaley's infant son, Thomas Jr., died of scarlet fever at only a few months old. The death happened within the home, not the grounds, and not another area.
Poor baby.
Yeah. This was actually the first death that happened inside the home itself. So obviously, the family's grief was very intense, which led to more emotional turmoil that ended up stirring more things up. Even if you look at it in a non-paranormal way, like the house becomes associated with personal loss at this point. Like now it's just a sad house, even if you're not looking at it like in a spiritual way. Like so many things happen here. It's weird.
I'm good. You can keep going.
Okay. I was confused on what you were doing.
I was putting my ankle brace on. My ankle was hurting.
So later reports from visitors and staff include sounds resembling soft crying and light footsteps. Don't worry, I'm going to get more into other like hauntings later. I'm just giving brief things.
Cool.
So after the theater began to struggle and the death of their son, things did not stay stable. The Whaley family faced financial difficulties, eventually leading them to leave San Diego for a period of time. The house was partially abandoned, underused, and falling into disrepair, and empty houses often become targets for trespassing and sources of rumor, exaggeration. So during this time, locals actually claimed to see figures inside the empty house and said that lights or movement were there when no one was living there. Anyway, this house, there's so much history. I feel like I'm just giving a history lesson instead of talking about ghosts. In 1885, one of the most important events occurred in the outhouse and in the bedroom.
Oh, spicy.
Yeah. So, Violet Whaley married a man named George Bertolacci.
Okay.
2 weeks into Violet's marriage, as the couple was traveling back east on their honeymoon, she woke one morning to find her husband gone. George, as it turned out, was a con artist.
Oh.
And as Violet and her family later learned, had only married her for the substantial dowry he believed he would collect. Do you know what a dowry is?
Yeah, it's like payment for marrying someone's daughter, pretty much.
Okay. So he actually had several aliases, George, Edson, and was supposedly steward of the poor house in Old Town at the time of the marriage.
The fuck?
So he went by like a bunch of different names.
Alrighty.
So at that time, divorce and scandal, especially for women, had like very serious stigma.
Yeah.
So Violet obviously returned home humiliated and emotionally devastated. In the 2 years following Violet's divorce, she dealt with overwhelming feelings of despair, anxiety, and sorrow, becoming a virtual recluse in her family home and rarely left her room. Her room is located upstairs in the rear bedroom. On July 5th, 1885, Violet attempted to drown herself after jumping out the upstairs back window into the cistern in the backyard, but it failed.
What the fuck?
Yeah. This led her to be taken to a doctor and was put on suicide watch. The only place she was allowed to be alone was the family's privy, which is like an outhouse in the backyard. However, one day, Violet asked her father for the key to his writing desk, claiming she wished to retrieve paper and begin writing poetry again. She wrote poetry before the divorce. She was super depressed. She stopped writing, Mr. Whaley was relieved and falsely believed that this was a sign of Violet's spirits to be lifting. Violet instead retrieved a .32 caliber handgun, which he had forgotten was in his desk, and on the morning of August 18th, 1885, at only 22 years old, she awoke very early, went out to the privy, and shot herself in the chest. Her father, upon hearing the gunshot, ran outside, recovered his daughter, carried her into the house, and laid her down on the chaise in the back parlor before running into town to try and find help.
Can I backtrack for a second just to make sure
Yeah.
I heard it right? She didn't know that the weapon was in there?
No, her dad forgot. So he didn't know that
Oh.
she
I thought you
so,
said
like,
she forgot, not he
no.
forgot.
He
'Cause,
forgot the gun was there. So when he gave the key, he was like, "Oh, there's only writing supplies in there."
Got it. Okay.
But she knew that there was the gun there.
Because what I heard at first was that she didn't know it was in there, so that wasn't even the plan. Like, she was going to write poetry, but no, she knew. Okay.
Mhm.
It was her father.
She knew that he forgot.
Got it.
He thought that she was just feeling better, that she grabbed the gun instead. But then she had the gun for like a week or a couple weeks before she went in the back in the outhouse and shot herself in the chest.
Honestly,
and then she was brought into the house. So she died in the house, not the outhouse.
Yeah.
She died inside.
So that's the reason her ghost is in the house. It's because her dad brought her back in.
Yeah.
Which, common thing that happens.
Her official autopsy report, as well as the official inquest following her death, concluded she had shot herself in the heart, but it is actually more likely that she hit one of her lungs, as she actually took 15 to 20 minutes to bleed to death. But her family was at her side, though. So she did die surrounded by her family. But suicide is a really sad way to go.
Yeah.
And it makes it worse that she suffered by like taking 20 minutes.
Exactly.
She was sitting there probably struggling to breathe. Like,
yeah. She didn't. Her body was fighting, but her mind wasn't. Like,
yeah. So that adds. So there's now 4 people that died, but that's the second like really like painful death.
Painful, traumatic. Yeah.
Yeah. So Violet left a suicide note behind, which read, "Mad from life's history, swift to death's mystery, glad to be hurled anywhere out of this world." So she wrote a poem as her suicide note.
Poetry. Oh. That breaks my heart. That really does.
There was an official inquest on August 19th, 1885, which was the day following Violet's suicide, which looked into the details of her death. And Violet's younger sister, Lillian, for some reason they called her Corinne. Don't know why.
Middle name, maybe?
I think that was her middle name, but her name was Lillian, but she didn't go by it. They called her Corinne.
Weird.
Haha.
Okay,
anyway. So Lillian was called as a witness in the inquest, and when asked why her sister had desired to kill herself, her reply was, "I don't know why. I think she was tired of life, tired of living here, thought no one cared for her, and that her life was a burden." At the time of Violet's death, Lillian herself was engaged. However, due to the taboo nature of suicide in the time, her fiancé broke off the engagement, and the house became associated with shame, grief, and silence.
That's so fucked up. That is so fucked up. Like, I can understand. There's still stigma against it now.
Yeah.
Like, but it's like leaving your fiance because her sister died by her own terms. But still, that is so messed up.
It was such a taboo thing back then.
Ugh.
But yeah.
I mean, they didn't have the mental health resources that we have now.
Nope. She was placed on suicide watch, though, by a doctor.
Yeah, but then she could probably fake her way out of it.
Yeah. The only thing I feel bad about is imagine the guilt that Thomas Whaley has to feel, knowing that he's the one who was like, "Oh, she's just writing poetry," and gave her the key.
Right?
Like, you have to feel so guilty about that.
I mean, it's a father's guilt. No matter what, he would feel guilty one way or another.
It just makes it worse that he's the one who basically handed her the thing that killed her.
And there's like a big saying out there, like, you should never have to bury your own children. Your children are supposed to bury you. So the guilt that just rides with you for that.
A short thing of a haunting. Like I said, I get more into details later. But a short thing is that visitors and staff, because staff
Yeah.
claim that there's a presence in the upstairs room, feelings of sudden sadness or heaviness, and occasional sightings of a young woman.
Okay.
So more losses followed over time. Thomas Whaley eventually died inside the home. Anna Whaley, which is the wife, also passed later on inside the home. And other family members that had connections to the home came and died there.
Ew.
Like they would visit and then just die. Like the land
What
is
the
like
fuck?
cursed or something. Like so by the late 1800s, the original family was basically gone. The house had seen multiple deaths, financial hardship, and a lot of periods of emptiness where no one was there. The late 1800s to early 1900s, the house was vacant or rarely used, and it was deteriorating physically because almost everybody had passed. During this time, when it was vacant, people reported seeing figures in the windows when no one lived there, hearing movement inside, and actually began avoiding the property altogether.
I would.
Yeah. The house later became a museum. You can still visit it today. I want to.
We can.
But
It's on our bucket list.
yay!
As like so many things like the Death Museum, the Alcatraz Museum. We got a big list.
Yeah.
There's some priorities on there though that I'm not going to announce yet because I don't want to get us hyped up.
Hey. But that's the end of the history.
Mhm.
Very sad history, lots of deaths.
Very.
A lot. So I touched on a couple of the hauntings that occur very shortly, but there's obviously more that happens. I'm honestly just going to begin listing stuff.
Go for it.
Because there's a lot. So there are residual types, which include sounds or events that seem to repeat the past, and they have no awareness of the living. The examples in the Whaley House are the heavy bootsteps that are linked to Yankee Jim, repeating pacing patterns in the hallway, and sounds that follow the same route each time. So, yeah, I don't need to explain. So, there's intelligent or responsive activity. So, this is activity that seems aware of the people that come to visit. The reported examples are lights or objects reacting when someone enters a room. So, like, someone will walk into the room and it's like someone turned on the light for them, but there's no motion sensors. Like, they don't use motion sensors. So, like, they'll come in, they'll be walking around for a little bit, and then it's like, boop. Sudden cold spots forming around a person, and people feeling like they're being watched or followed. The most consistent phenomenon is the footsteps. So they aren't just random noises, they are very specific. So they are described as heavy, deliberate, boot-like steps, slow pacing, sometimes back and forth. They are heard on wood floors upstairs and when the house is otherwise silent. Like I said, the Whaley family reported this in the 1800s. Visitors in the 1900s reported these footsteps, and museum staff and visitors today report these footsteps. So across history, the same exact description has been given for these footsteps. So that level of consistency, you know, obviously like now for the museum, people know what the footsteps are like because they've been described. So it's easier to fake now. But like back in like the 1800s or 1900s, they were not like publicly disclosing this information. So it's a lot more believable that they were actually like experiencing these things. So people see full apparitions. So people claim to see Thomas Whaley on the stairs, standing in rooms, and he is seen as a solid, detailed figure, and he often just disappears. You look at him, he's there, and then he's gone.
He goes, sup bitches, bye.
Basically. Anna Whaley is associated with feeling a calm presence where the rest of the house feels kind of anxious. Movement through different rooms, you'll hear her and her little heels clacking. And she is sometimes accompanied by a distinct floral perfume scent.
I've heard of that one, yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, Violet Whaley is the most emotionally intense sighting. So she is often linked to the upstairs room, which was her bedroom, the chaise lounge area where she died, and sometimes the outhouse, but mainly her bedroom. Experiences include feeling sudden sadness, seeing a figure briefly, then gone. Um, and it's kind of weird because they're not just shadows. Like people will see clear human forms with details and they know who they are. Like there's enough details in their face that they're like, that's Violet.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's scary to me more than like seeing a shadow figure. Like I don't want to be
I would hate
seeing
that.
like a whole face.
Right? But no,
Yeah.
she's very strong.
I mean, she died really sadly.
Yeah.
Like, and there's so much like energy in that house. Like, she's got to feed off of it, especially since it's a museum now. So many people
Right?
come in. There's so many people you can like leech the energy off of.
Exactly.
So there's also shadow figures and partial forms. These are more common. So like people don't really see the full body apparitions. They do happen. Like they are
Mm-hmm.
frequent, but like basically every day someone is like seeing a shadow figure. And they're basically just described as dark shapes that move through the room.
Mm-hmm.
Or they'll see movement in mirrors behind them. And if you look directly at them, they disappear. And they're reported in hallways, doorways, or by the stairs. There are physical and environmental effects that are reported in the home. So some of the most frequently reported experiences are cold spots, sudden drops in temperature in very specific areas. So not the whole room, literally just one little corner or like in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes described as walking into a cold wall. Lights flickering or turning on and off. Chandeliers swaying without any air. They'll just go.
I hate that. I hate that.
Yeah. And small objects moved across a shelf. Some visitors report feelings of being lightly touched, tugging on their clothing, and a pressure near them. I don't know what it means by pressure, but a pressure near them.
Like, you know how like you can feel someone standing behind you?
I guess.
Like you can feel them breathing down your neck.
Yeah, maybe that's what they mean.
I think that's what they mean. That's what I interpret it as.
Maybe. There's auditory phenomenon, but beyond the footsteps.
Oh my god.
So the range of sounds include whispers or faint voices, a childlike laugh or cry, doors opening and closing, movement when no one is there, and the sounds often happen when the house is quiet and people are alone. So they'll just be standing there.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll be like, there's a little child that goes, haha. And they're like, the fuck?
Hi.
They're like, where the fuck?
Like a little balloon boy just comes out and it's just like, hi.
Oh, hell no. That's horrifying. But there's also unexplained smells. These are called olfactory hauntings, and they're actually pretty common. These sometimes are less convincing to me because I've been to Zach Bagans Museum, and I walked into Al Capone's room because there's like a room with stuff from Al Capone.
Which
and
I have to preface, I'm mad that you went and I have not.
I went when we went to Vegas.
That's different though. Like that was last year?
No,
birthday?
In 2022. My senior year.
2022. Okay.
But
because didn't you just
we went to Florida.
That's right. You were supposed to go to Vegas.
But my entire family went to Vegas, and just me and my sister went to the museum. But when we went to the Al Capone room, I was like, it smells like cigars in here. And the lady admitted to me that they use plug-in things to make it smell like stuff. She was like, when you come in
Zach
here.
Bagans thing.
Yeah. And I was like, it smells like cigars. Is that like it's weird. And she was like, oh, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but no one else usually mentions it, so I'm going to tell you, because usually people don't say anything. You look over there in that little corner behind, you see this little thing? And she was like, peek your head back there. You'll see a little thing in the wall.
Yep.
And she was like, yeah, that's basically a scent thing that pushes out cigar,
Yes.
like, stuff.
Yeah,
And I was
like, would it one of I'm
I'm gonna
not
get sued by Zach.
as I am not associated with my Halloween festival that I used to work. I'm not going to say the name of the place, but I'm sure if I talk about it, people are going to know.
Mhm.
And people from all over the tri-state do work this festival. I will say that now. I had coworkers from New York and Philly.
Yeah.
We had an Army of the Dead trail, like the Netflix movie. And we used, what was it? Like scent beads and fans. And that entire trail smelled like dead, rotting flesh. So it's very easy to mimic certain smells. Yeah. Cigars, easy.
Very easy.
Dead, rotting flesh, not so much.
But it's fine. But, like, I think that sometimes, yes, like, olfactory hauntings are real.
Yes.
But they're a lot less convincing to me because they are so easily mimicked. Like, you can plug in something in the wall and hide it so well that no one sees it. But regardless, there are some apparently documented here. So I will say them, just in case they're real.
Yes. There's the possibility, but we can say we have no evidence of it being real or not.
We've never been there. Maybe we go there and we look around and we're like, okay,
we have such a long list of places we need to go investigate. Like, I can't add any more to the list.
We'll walk around the room and be like, okay, there's no scent pods in here. Look, there's nothing. Okay, maybe it's real. But apparently there is cigar smoke smell that is linked to Thomas Whaley, and like I said before, the floral perfume that is linked to Anna Whaley. Apparently, the smells appear suddenly and fade very quickly, and they aren't tied to any physical source, apparently.
Yeah, if it's more sporadic, maybe they have like a scent booster button going on. Like,
it just squirts out a little bit at a time. It just goes. Even if they're like very quick, like smells, I still feel like you can do that. Yes, like you can
program it or whatever.
Yeah. Listen, I believe in the paranormal. I believe in hauntings, but smells just a little less believable to me. Mm-hmm. Like, especially after that Zach Baggins thing where the lady was like, and the fact that she's not supposed to tell me that. Like, she was not supposed to say that.
She thought you were chill. And now here you are revealing their secrets.
I'm sure that somebody else figured it out.
Zach Baggins is going to be like, take this video down. We'll be like, oh my god, we got recognized.
I'm going to get either sued or we're going to get threatened to take this down.
From Zach Baggins himself.
We're going to get a fucking email at the pod. He's going to listen to the podcast and he's going to hear the email at the end and be like, fuck you guys. Take this shit down or I sue you.
And we'll be like, the fuck you gonna do? We have the information. We're not telling you who the employee is.
No, because I don't remember her name anyway.
Exactly.
But, like, the other thing is that I go to Gettysburg all the time, right? Mm-hmm. Zach Baggins went to Gettysburg.
Yeah.
There's a lot of haunted museums there. We went to one of the haunted museums, and my grandma brought up, like, Zach Baggins Haunted Museum, and the workers there were like, oh, we don't talk about him here. And I was like, whoa, what happened? And they were like, oh, just, some things might be real, but we don't talk about him here. Basically saying that he's a fraud, and I was like,
damn.
And I was like, whoa. I like Zach Baggins, okay? Leave me alone.
Oh my god, I recommend, if you cover... Which episode did I hear about? I think it was when he went to the doll island or whatever.
Yeah.
Watched that episode.
I've watched every single episode.
I have not. So, but like...
Okay, I believe that some things that happen in that show are real. Some things are a little exaggerated.
Exactly.
But
I think
when I get married, I feel like I'm going to have to call 2008 Zach Baggins and be like, hey.
I am going to look on Etsy for a Zach Baggins blanket for you. So, like, I have my Bang Chan one. And you're gonna have a Zach bag.
I
just hit my ankle on my table.
because if you look at 2008 Zach Baggins, he looks
Girl,
like
just fucking ignore that. I just hurt myself.
I don't care. I'm talking about my husband here, okay?
Fuck you.
I don't care if he fakes some of the stuff on his shows. I don't care if he uses those scent boosters in his museum. Okay? 2008 Zach Baggins was fine as fuck, and I will die on that hill.
Listen, I didn't grow up watching Ghost Adventures, so I can't relate.
I was like
Right,
4
his show
years
is Ghost
old.
Adventures. I'm not fucking
Yeah.
that up. Okay.
Yeah.
Because like I know so many paranormal shows.
Yeah. I was 4 years old. My grandma watched it because it came out in 2008. So I was
Yeah.
4 years old. She started watching it because she watched Ghost Hunters.
Mm-hmm.
She started watching it, and I looked up at the screen like this.
Like that man.
And he's
is
like-
hot.
He's dressed like a 2000s like alternative guy, like a little bit like he has like the beaded shirts that have like the
Mhm.
weird designs and stuff, and I was like, I love you. And then I think it just stemmed from there.
Sorry, you made me think to go check the thingy, the email. Nobody is contacting us.
Okay,
Mm.
Kelly, girl. Anyway, I'm gonna get this over quickly because I have a little bit left.
Okay, and you have work in the morning, so I
Yeah.
want you to be able to get some sleep.
So there are a variety of emotional and psychological effects. So people report sudden sadness or heaviness, especially in Violet's room, feeling watched, anxiety or unease without a clear reason, a strong urge to leave certain rooms. Didn't say which ones, but sometimes they just get the urge that they should not be there.
Mhm.
Violet's room in particular, because she's the strongest ghost,
Yep.
is often associated with emotional intensity and a heavy, almost oppressive atmosphere. Like it feels like you can't breathe in there, which she literally died by shooting herself in the lung. Like
so,
I would,
makes sense.
like I would feel like I can't breathe. But even skeptics, like people that go there in attempts to debunk this, have admitted that the feeling in certain rooms, most commonly Violet's room, is hard to ignore and they feel like they can't control it. So like people will go there trying to debunk it and be like, yeah,
Mhm.
no, there's something about this room that I just can't like
That you can't explain.
What gives the hauntings like a lot of depth is the consistency over time. Like I said before, it's easier to like replicate them and fabricate them now in
Mhm.
current times. But like back in the 1800s and 1900s, people weren't like going out spewing this stuff. So it was like a little bit easier to be like, oh, they're not just copying somebody else, they actually experienced this.
Mm-hmm.
But the reports date back to the Whaley family, documenting them,
Mm-hmm.
when no one was in the house, and then obviously people experience it during modern tours. It's the same footsteps, same locations, same figures. It makes it stand out like a lot because that kind of consistency over centuries is not very common.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it.
Yay, the Whaley
Very
House.
history packed. Very history
Very.
packed.
But
Yeah.
you know what? I like it when it has a lot of history. I mean, that was a lot of traumatic history, but
Yeah.
the Whaley family went through a lot.
I feel like if I went there, I feel like I would have a panic attack.
Oh, same.
Like,
But we gotta go visit.
I have panic attacks in Gettysburg. Like,
Yeah.
I can't. Did I ever
Alright.
tell it? Wait, this is totally random. Before we log off, did I ever tell you about when I was a little kid, or like I was like 12 maybe, and we were in Gettysburg, and there was like an old orphanage, right? I had no clue anything about the orphanage, but it was like a gift shop, and they had the middle of the floor cut out that you could look down into the basement, and that's where kids used to be like held during the orphanage years, and they would like basically beat the kids. I had no clue.
What the fuck?
What? I had no clue, right?
Well, if you
Literally-
didn't tell me this, you're telling the podcast, so.
Oh, well, I had no clue, right?
Mhm.
Absolutely no clue the history. I was 12 years old.
Yeah.
Like, first time being in this gift shop. We had gone to Gettysburg a lot, but we had never been in that gift shop, that orphanage. My grandpa's talking to one of the ladies, and I'm standing there. I'm really into something down in the basement. I'm just staring at it. And I'm like, and I turned to my grandfather and I tug on his shirt and I was like, why is that boy dressed so funny? And he was like, what boy? And I was like, there's a little boy down there. Why is he dressed like that? Is he like pretending to be like old timey? And my grandpa was like, there's no boy down there. And then the
Oh
worker
my
was like,
God.
oh, are you seeing a little boy down there? And I was like,
Yeah.
there is one. What are you talking about? There is. And she was like, oh no, that's just our little boy. A lot of kids actually see
That's just
him.
a dead child.
Yeah. And she was like, a lot of kids actually see him, say hello, and he'll go away. You just got to acknowledge him. And I was like,
Hi,
what?
kid.
And I was like, I'm sorry? That was like one of the first, like, straight up, like,
Damn.
experiences I've ever had. And from that moment on, I could never deny it.
Damn. Damn. All right. Let's do our sign off because we're gonna talk a little bit afterwards. A little post pro meeting. Would you like to do you're the social media manager and I've been stealing the sign off from you. Would you like to do it in case Zach Baggins contacts us?
Please don't sue me. I talked highly of you, okay? I told you that you were hot. Don't sue me.
All right. Sign off.
Okay. So our email is lstt.pod@gmail.com. Our Instagram is Let's Spill the Tea Pod. Our TikTok is also Let's Spill the Tea Pod.
Woohoo!
Yay!
Hey guys, Future Kelly here. We actually had some issues with making the TikTok and changing the username for it. So it is not currently the username we want it to be. Right now, our username is Let's Spill the Tea.0304. So you can find us on there, and the link will be in our link tree.
That TikTok will have videos that you guys don't get to see because we do audio.
Yes, that is something we're going to discuss for future endeavors, but not today. As of recording this, we don't have any TikToks up yet, but by the time this episode comes out, we will be starting to release the videos for episode 14. And episodes 12 and 13 will have videos out as well.
Yay!
We spilled that tea, bro.
Ha 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 ha.
Bye.
Bye.